Doc.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Hello, happy birthday. And Doc, alcoholic addict, and amongst other things, and welcome to another fantastic edition of Sober School. Marcus still won't let me do profanity.
No.
I'm gonna do it next week just to
No, you're
spite you.
not.
I am.
You're gonna
Do something about it.
change the
So today we are doing a class called Trigger Warning. We're going to talk about triggers. I know for me personally, like I really don't have a lot of urges to use or drink, but there's still stuff that happens that gets to me. Like the sound of a foil cap on a bottle, the whole that sound I feel in my very soul. I don't know what it is, but when I hear somebody open like in a movie or something like that, a bottle of Jameson, and I hear that, it gets to me, and I can even like when they're pouring a drink in a movie. Like I can tell by listening to it, that's just apple juice, or no, they're actually drinking scotch. Smell of matches gets to me, and on a couple different levels. I don't know. I don't think I've ever used matches for anything good. Heroin and arson, allegedly. Yeah, there's every time I smell that sulfur smell of burning matches, it brings something back. This relative memory, like smell, certain smells, is one of the strongest forms of memory. I was at Walmart over the weekend, and I don't know, I was walking past the liquor section, and I smelled jail for some reason. There's just something that harkened back to that, maybe a Bob Barker product that somebody had recently used or something, but I got this whiff, and it took me back. I don't know, still, man, like seeing an unattended anhydrous ammonia trailer, still, like, yeah,
the big Tic Tac.
yeah, the big Tic Tac. Like, and nowadays, allegedly, that wasn't even my preferred method of reduction, let's say, but still, the potential is not lost on me. I'll be like driving out to one of our eastern properties or something, and they'll be like, a little daisy chain. I'm like, ooh, like, and it takes me back for a minute. I had to give somebody a subcutaneous injection a couple weeks ago, and that really messed with me. Like, it was a drop, a syringe, and it was in completely above board, and their prescription and a legitimate application of a syringe, but still, I'm like, I immediately started thinking of, what weird supplements do I have in my medicine cabinet that I could put in one of these? They're only using 3 of them. You got a 10-pack. I'm like, and I started thinking, and like, it's messed up. I don't typically, I don't really have those urges or something, but like, man, I'll tell you honestly, that kind of messed with me. And knowing your triggers is of the utmost importance. Like, recovery becomes a lot easier when you can identify the people, places, emotions, thoughts, and situations that increase your urge to use. And the awareness of this gives us a chance to catch it before it escalates. There's certain like people, like there's certain like oh, giving baby mama a ride every other week down to Indy definitely makes me contemplate drinking. She's not usually, but there is times when she's been a little bit off her square, pharmaceutically speaking. I'm like, ugh. And historically, we have a long history, even though we weren't together, of using together. So I have to be mindful of that. I made it like when I first started giving her rides down to see our boy. I make very, very clear, I'm on the straight and narrow, and you're not to have anything in my vehicle. Otherwise, I'm never giving you a ride to see your son ever again. And it was important for me to set that boundary. One of my exes, like I was a trigger for her because like we got together based on like getting high and using a very particular context, and that was like the whole time we were together. There was this. That was the context of it, and she ended up getting popped for selling heroin to a detective in my house while I was at work. And they initially charged me with everything she had done, even though I was at work. And ultimately, like almost a year later, they dropped the charges against me. And she actually had already been released into the home with hope, like long before they ever cut me loose. I ended up having to cop to, I think, maintaining and possession of a syringe or something like that. But she got out, she got into a recovery program, and she was doing real good. I was real happy for her. We weren't together anymore, but I was super happy. But she, a little ways down the road, she hit me up, like, because she had a, let's say, itch she needed help scratching. And I, being a gentleman, I obliged. But and there was a couple times after that, but then the next time she came over, I could tell she was, her nose was a little bit itchy, let's say, catch my meaning. And then the following week, she overdosed in the office at work, and they had to beat the door down so the EMS could get in there. And she'd been clean for like 9 months, and she was doing super, super good. She became the manager of her store. And then we started hanging out together again, and there's that whole state-dependent memory. I was a trigger for her, and actually that sort of scenario ultimately leading to overdose happened again. And like after that point, I'm like, okay, morally, it's not okay for me to like talk to her or hang out for her, because even though it's not guaranteed that it's going to happen again, 2 out of 3 is not, it's bad. And another little, there's a lot of good acronyms in the program, but one big one as far as triggers go is, anyone know what HALT means?
Halt.
HALT.
Hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
There we go, my dude. Yeah, these are big ones. These are stressors in our lives. These are elements of an edge that might yearn to be taken off, and we need to be mindful when they occur. And just the simple act of taking care of these basic needs can prevent small trigger from becoming a major problem. And if you're hungry, eat something. If you're angry, watch cats on catnip videos on YouTube, or do something that makes you happy, or meditate. If you're lonely, some fellowship, hit a meeting. Go number 3. Like, do something to address that need. And if you're tired, take it, ride the bunk for a minute. If that is an option, sometimes that's not an option. So maybe caffeinate sensibly. Green tea. Like, I don't know if any of you guys like mess with green tea. I would highly recommend it, because caffeine and energy drinks and stuff raise cortisol and stress chemicals in our body and brains, which ultimately can be a trigger. Having heightened that whole heightened being ill at ease is a good part to exacerbating our disease. And green tea has what's called theanine in it, which actually takes the edge off somewhat. It reduces the amount of it buffers the caffeine, so it doesn't raise your cortisol up as much. They actually put theanine in like highly caffeinated energy drinks to try and get on top of the whole jitteriness they can produce. So highly recommend green tea if you're tired. Also high in antioxidants, which is always good, you know. But yeah, if you're feeling any of these things, like any of these elements of an edge, we need to recognize that, and we need to get on top of it. We need to meet our needs in a healthy manner to stack the deck in our favor as far as not trying to meet our needs in an unhealthy manner. And we need to separate the trigger itself from the choice. Like a trigger is not a relapse. Well, I don't know. I felt bad when I brought this in the house, because I know for some people, like that sound, definitely a trigger. Like, and it's like feel it in the back of your neck. You're just like, oh, it can take you back if that's something you're have a predisposition towards. And a trigger can be anything. Like, it's just something that that connects the dots in your brain back to using. Does anybody have a trigger? Like,
Cigarette cellophane.
yeah, there we go. Like, anybody like see an empty cigarette pack on the ground and check it, see if there's anything in it. I still do that. You know, like at least give it a shake. You know.
Might be some money in it.
No. But yeah, that's a trigger to a normal person who's not an alcoholic or not an addict. Cigarette cellophane. Oh, that's just litter. But to a goodly number of us, that same cigarette cellophane immediately takes you back. There's a stigma attached to it. Because neurons that fire together wire together, and we're fucking wired for sound. And we're all gonna, like I said before, even I've been sober a good couple years. I haven't drank in like 6. I haven't used any substances since I've been out, so a little, over 2. But so cravings can still occur. Like, you don't know what's gonna you don't necessarily know what's gonna trigger you, and until it does. But the important thing is being mindful of it and being aware that it is happening. But it's important to just pause before you act, like, because cravings, they usually rise, peak, and then fade. You know, take a few deep breaths. Give a shout out to your higher power. Call your sponsor. Go for a walk. Go number 3. Do something, anything but that. Does it, like, I still, there'll be something will spark that that memory in me, and that still occurs. And even if you've been sober for a goodly, like, way more years than I have, that can still occur. But the duration it takes you to run through the tape, like, where you're like, oh, you get that thought, man, I could just have one, or I could do this and nobody'd know. Man, I just had a piss test yesterday. They're not going to hit me again for a month. You know, I could probably, I'll just make sure I'm drinking plenty of water, be all right, until they hit you with the double tap. But these still occur. But what changes is, more often than not, the duration we think about it. Like, oh yeah, like I could totally do that, but no. And I go back to, like, where it ended up my life, and going to prison, and yeah, to F that. but I go through that sequence of events in my head where it used to be like, I don't know, I'd be thinking about it for 5-10 minutes. Now I'm thinking about that. Then it became like 5 or 10 seconds, and then it's like a second to a half a second. I'm like immediately, because I'm living my recovery, I immediately get, oh no, fuck that. I could, but oh no, fuck that. Just that's what changes. Still, like I don't like watching needles. Like that still bothers me. So I don't look at it. Even when I was in the hospital and stuff, when I had my surgery and stuff, like I couldn't look at it, because that's something I could control. Like if I was watching a needle go in my arm, that's run the risk of awakening some things. So what I did is I was mindful that's a trigger of mine, and I stared at the ceiling. And it's important to have a recovery action plan. Have somebody you can talk to. Know exactly what you'll do when you're triggered. Like okay, because it's one of the great things about prayer. You don't have to. Okay, you get triggered. You could be walking, driving, working, whatever, and okay, hey, and, whoever it is up there, that kind of messes with me a little bit. Just be with me and help me get through this. But even if you're busy, you can shoot a text out to somebody. You can text me. You know, man, this messed with me today. Holler at your boy. I got you. And I'm always very busy, but if I see a distress call, I'm absolutely going to get back to you as soon as I am able. Catch a meeting. Maybe that trigger was your higher power saying, hey, you need to go attend a meeting. Or maybe there's the thing that you getting triggered by this one thing, or like feathering the brakes as you pass the liquor store. Maybe that, and catching yourself doing that, maybe that was your higher power saying, hey, you need a meeting in your life. Or maybe that happened because the meeting that you're going to catch, there's something you really needed to hear there. But it can be all part of a bigger plan. It's above our pay grade, the big picture. But it's super important to avoid unnecessary high-risk situations. So I could say, I don't know, like I can go walk past the liquor section, you know. Do I necessarily want to go do work at a liquor store? Maybe not. Maybe not. That's not the best idea. Maybe I shouldn't work on a farm where they have unattended tanks of anhydrous, or buy a box of Sudafed for somebody at the drugstore. Maybe I shouldn't do those if it can be avoided. Sometimes you're going to run into stuff. Sometimes things can't be avoided. I don't know how many houses and apartments I work in where they got like a fully stocked bar, or like various trappings and paraphernalia around, or it smells like weed or other things when I go in there.
So I was going to say, how does triggers fall into become traps?
Well, they're only traps if you let them become traps.
Okay.
Like if you catch it, like if you're like if you're walking a path and you start to notice the footing's a little bit slippery, being mindful of that. Okay, I need to be extra careful in this spot because this is a dangerous portion of my path. I need to hug the mountainside of the path a little bit tighter. I need to be mindful, keep my eyes on the prize, pay attention to what I'm doing. More so, the trigger can just be like, hey, just a reminder to be mindful and keep your eyes on the prize. It's like they're gonna occur. Like there's gonna be sights, there's gonna be sounds, there's gonna be people that are gonna take you back just for a second. But it's our job to keep our eyes on the prize and have a plan on how to handle these things. So it's just for a second. You know, we don't have to like. I was it's a couple summers ago, 2 summers ago, and I was finishing up some work over in the West Lafayette, and the drywall finisher, he was like, my boss had left, and drywall finisher was giving me a ride back to here actually, and like I just had a drug test that morning on my way to work, and he's giving me a ride home, and he's like, fucking, we get in, hey, buckle up, start your car. Like, I takes a little bit of the shopping bag. He's like, you want some Coke? And I'm like, huh. That's and what I did is I was like, oh man, I appreciate you. There's a reason I got all these key tags on my keychain, because it does occur. Like I don't know how many times people like I've fixed stuff for them or solved a problem for them. Hey, you want a beer? Or fucking. You want a bong hit or God knows what else. And no, I appreciate you, but I used to get down like that, but I no longer get down like that, and it probably wouldn't be a good idea for me to get down like that with keys to your apartment. So like it's just good for everybody if I don't do that. But especially I love the 1 year NA tag because it glows in the dark. So I come in from outside and like a little bacon, like you can. It's another reason why I've got this giant keychain, because it like lets you know I'm coming, and when you see me coming, these are kind of evident. A little bit filthy anymore, but it's a good way to like, oh hey, no, I appreciate you. You're just trying to be nice. You know, but like, jingle jangle, I'm good on that. Recovery isn't about proving your strength by hanging around temptation. Like, just because I know I'll be all right, like I could probably fix something up for somebody or do any number of things, but it would not be advisable for me to do so unless I absolutely have to. Like, wisdom means avoiding situations that don't support your sobriety whenever possible. It's not always possible, but if it is, okay, I'm gonna avoid it. Like, sure, the dog may not bite me, but I don't need to. If there's no reason for me to go in the yard and put myself in range of that dog biting me, I'm not going in the yard. If there's a reason I got to be in the yard, I got to fix something or fix your gate or whatever, okay, I'm going to be mindful of that dog. I got bit yesterday? Yesterday or the day before, pit bull got me on the boot. But I had a reason to be there, okay, and I was mindful moving forward. The rest of the work I had to do there, because I had to go back and get an air filter and come back and put it back in. I had my eyes on that dog, and I was a little bit more careful around that dog because you don't know. If I didn't have to go in that apartment with that pit bull, I would not have. But since I had to, it's important for me to be mindful that there was a dog that could bite me. And, fuck, man, use your support network. That's one of the greatest things about this house. Like, we are all on the same team. We're like gang. We got a group, we got a fellowship, we got a tribe of people who all want what's best for each other. Which, like, seriously, most people in this world, especially right now, they don't have that. Or maybe they got something adjacent to that. But, or they got all these friends, you got some acquaintances and stuff. But the connection we have because of what we have in common here in this house is something most people outside this house don't have. I wish they did. Some of them do. But most people, they got some people they talk to at work, and maybe they got a girlfriend, and a couple people to hang out with. But really, in their heart of hearts, do you think they want what's best for each other, like the people in this house do? I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Because this, we have this thing in common. We can relate to each other, and we got each other's backs on a level that not everybody gets to experience. So and the opposite of addiction is connection. Isolation gives triggers room to grow. Honest conversations with sponsors, trusted friends, counselors, or recovery groups can reduce their power, man. Hey, man, if you're going through it, if something messed with you, if something triggered you, maybe not, I don't know about broadcasting it in Red Ball, but whoever you're the closest to in the house, or if you need somebody who's not in the house, like, reach out. Say, hey, man, this messed with me the other day. And the simple act of putting it into words changes how our brains process this. And like, if you get opportunity, Tuesday night, DAA at the Surf from 7 to 8 is a great meeting. Like, it's not like a normal meeting. Shout out Dustin. You know, it's a little bit different. Just everybody goes around the room and they talk about what they have going on. They don't read handouts. The stuff you got on your heart. What DAA is for is to get it off your heart. And I find that should not be your only meeting, but as far as a secondary and support meeting, I highly recommend it for that very reason. And it's important for us to challenge the story in our mind, because we think, oh man, I'll be all right. I know, man, I can have a little bit, or I'll just, because I don't know about you, like, I think too much, like, nonstop. Brain doesn't shut off when I'm not fixing stuff, or working on my side business, or drawing for my boy. I'm like inventing stuff and designing apps and thinking about the next thing and trying to solve all the world's problems, and it just doesn't stop, like, ever. Like, I have dreams about, like, working and inventions and all this stuff. And my girl was like, you need to settle down. You think too much. I'm like, you think? Like, there's a reason I used to drink and do drugs all the time. It's because and do dumb stuff like that, because that's the one time I'd stop thinking so much. But I still, like, man, I could get away with it. Like, I just, like, man, a nightcap. Man, like, I had a super long week, man. Like, I'm not talking about going out to the bar or something. Just get like a half pint and just slam it, and then just sleep and not think about anything, not worry about anything. Oh, that sounds appealing, but it's not. I just know, running through the tape, that's not where it would end. It would end back here, or jail, or prison. Triggers often come with distorted thinking, like just once won't hurt, or I deserve this, man. I deserve to be able to take the edge off. I work real hard, and I've had a long week and dealt with a bunch of stuff. We need to replace those thoughts with the truth by remembering where addiction and alcoholism always leads. Like, oh, I could probably have one beer. Probably could. Wouldn't even catch a buzz. I could probably have one beer. But the likelihood of me just having one beer, or doing one line, or smoking one bowl, or doing one shot, statistically, based on my research, it's not going to end. It's not going to stop at one. One's going to lead to the other. It's going to lead to the other. It's going to lead to the other. And it's going to lead to the ground or prison. And it's important to be mindful of that. Like, as much as we can, like, that we were talking about halts before, we need to build a healthy lifestyle. as much as we're able to, make sure you're getting what you need. Get something to eat. Go through your anger management program. Process through that shit. If you're lonely, reach out. If you're tired, as much as you're able to, try and prioritize meeting those needs as much as you're able. Nothing's ever gonna be perfect. We don't live in an ideal world, but you either make time for wellness or you make time for illness. There's no third option. So regular sleep, exercise, huge. Balanced nutrition, spiritual practices, meaningful hobbies increase emotional resilience and reduce the intensity of many triggers. Like the German word that's Hobbyloser. It means hobbyless. It's a dig in German, calling somebody hobbyless. That's why that's a big problem with a lot of people in this world, because they don't have something with meaning. They don't have something to do to fill their time. They don't they work and they consume and they stare at screens, and they don't have anything else, and they wonder why they feel empty. They're looking for something else to build them up or make them feel fulfilled. It's because they don't have a frickin' hobby. They're not doing anything of consequence. They don't do anything that doesn't matter what the hobby is. Stamp collecting. Marcus is a big stamp collector. I got him started. But it's important to have a hobby. Like, do work. Have a side business. Find something like art that brings you joy and like that fulfills you on inside in a real way. Like going to the gym. If you play music, or even if you just listen to music, listening to good, positive music is hugely important, and just learn from every trigger. Like, it's information, people. Like, we don't know when it's going to happen, but if it happens, it happened for a reason. There's a reason why that connection occurred in our brain. Sometimes it could be random, just a random smell. I don't even know if I'm like hallucinating, smelling jail or matches, and I could be, but even if it's all in my head, that means there's something in my head that's thinking about using, so I need to be mindful of that. Instead of feeling ashamed after being triggered, ask yourself, what was I feeling? What happened? What can I do different next time? And every trigger can be a lesson. It can be that rough spot on our path to be mindful of. See, I almost slipped here, and then when I see a section of the path that looks like this section of the path down the road, I will be mindful. I'm going to be more careful. I'm going to stay closer to the mountain side of the path on more firm footing, because I know I was at risk of slipping last time. And spiritual, strengthen your spiritual connection. Like, like if something's messing with you, that's like, sure, you could call your sponsor, you could text me, you could find somebody to talk to here in the house, and I recommend you doing all those things. But one thing you can do, like in the moment, oh man, smelling that anhydrous come off the field is messing with me, Lord. I can do that while I'm in the midst of it. While I'm like in the middle of being triggered, this is bothering me, Lord. The big three: protections, corrections, and directions. Just keep me safe. Make sure I'm doing things right, and then put me where I need to be. If I need to be here to smell that NH3 coming off the field, okay. But if there's no reason for me to be here, I'm gonna move on down the road. And I'm gonna celebrate every victory. Every time you successfully work through a trigger without using, good job. In case nobody else tells you. Anytime anything messes with you, makes you think about it for a second, and you don't go out, good job. Please know, I might not get to say it because I might not know it happened, but please know I am proud of you. I have been there, and I'm fucking, and I mean that. I'm super stoked. I know how hard it is. And every time you make through it without going through it, good job. Because every time you do that, every time you're on that slippery portion of the path where you could fall, where you're in peril, you're in danger, and you don't, that's you. What is occurring is you're strengthening neural pathways, because neurons that fire together wire together. You're reinforcing the neural connections in your head, saying, okay, that messes with me. That makes me think about drinking or using, but I don't have to. And that's what prolonged recovery takes. It's kind of having your fucking chill fucked with a little bit, but not going off the handle. Because every time you do that, I said do. Every time you successfully do that, you're strengthening the recovery pathways in your brain. Because recovery isn't about never being triggered. It's about responding differently each time. And just like well, we can think about like, okay, having to give an injection, you know, like what helped me get through it is I prayed on it, you know, like immediately, like actually in the moment while I was doing it, I'm praying. That's what my focus was on, and that's what helped me get through it, and I kind of like I haven't done that since. I did it because I was asked to do it and they needed help. Okay, but if I was asked again, I would probably say, well, it might be important for you to learn how to do that for yourself, and it also, if I'm gonna be honest, kind of messes with me a little bit. And if it still comes down to it, and if I have to do it again, I'm just gonna pray on it again, before, during, and after. And I'm not gonna use about it or drink about it, and I'm just gonna be mindful of my triggers and be mindful of how I process through them when they occur. But that's all I got.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
Good job.